If I was a little girl and we were going to a dining reservation and my parents ordered this, I would feel like the biggest princess in all the land.
Hey y'all, it's LJ here, owner and founder of Smart Moms Plan Disney and Smart Moms Travel. We are so glad you're here for another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Now, here's your host, Allie.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. I am your host, Allie. I'm here with Stacy and Carla today. Good morning, girls.
Good morning.
Hey, Allie.
I'm so excited to be with both of you because we're talking about something. Well, you know what? I feel like I say this every week. We're always talking about something I really love, but this is really something I love so much. And I know that both of you do as well. And I feel like today's episode for everybody listening is going to be so much about dreaming. And I think every time our listeners listen and they're not at Disney World, they're dreaming about Disney in some capacity. But today is like all about dreaming. But before we do, we're going to continue our summer conversation here. It is still summer as we're recording this, and I had to set an alarm to get up to meet y'all to record. And I was so tired, but then it had me thinking because my alarm was set later than it would have been for like a school morning. What is the level of exhaustion that your house is feeling right now, this summer break? Like, is summer tired different than school year tired? Because at our house, I am finding it really is.
Gosh, I'm so tired right now, and it's a mix of summer tired and a mix of just things in our family tired. But I am coming off of a week of Vacation Bible School, very much a summer staple here in the South, and that's an early morning, all morning kind of thing, 5 days a week. The adults are in charge of the kids, and it's quite exhausting. So I'm coming off of that. Yep. This would have been my first morning to sleep in just a teeny bit, but nah, I'm here.
Carla and I were wake up call.
We had to ruin it for you, didn't we?
Yeah, and see, y'all are the Eastern time zone. I'm Central time zone. So it's already, you've got that hour on me already. But it's okay, because I already got up a little early today. I can't blame it all on you. My husband and my son are on their way to a college orientation this morning. So I was up with that already anyway, so can't blame it all on the podcast.
That's bittersweet.
Yeah.
We don't have much exhaustion in our house. The level that I'm worried about in my house is the level of brain cells that are being lost. Because my children are on, well, I've pushed it down to 5 hours of screen/electronic time that they have to organize their day to figure out how they're going to make it with only 5 hours. And it's it's pretty difficult.
You just gave our listener moms like a huge collective sigh of relief. Like, seriously, I think so. I can't, I try to look at my kids and remember their schedules were all thrown out of whack. And, life is so different today than it was 2 weeks ago. So like, we're already dealing with that. But then, we're getting more sleep than we were, but we are way more tired. I'm not super proud of this, okay? But I'm not really a yes mom all the time, right? And I try to be one at Disney World. That's like where I try to be one. But sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, you could have like said yes to that. You know what I mean? Like that was an unnecessary no. But in the summer, my motto this year, I don't know even who I am, but I'm just like, it's summer, it's yes to everything. They ask me anything, I'm like, it's summer, it's fine. Like 2 a.m, you want to have a friend over? Yeah, it's fine.
We're going to see how this plays out in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
It's not playing out well now. It's terrible. It's not going well, but now
I just want to I want to interview your kids in 3 weeks and see how yes of a mom you've been.
But now I'm so tired from being the it's summer mom that now I like now I'm too tired to be a no mom because now I can't follow through because I'm like, yes, it's fine. Whatever.
Now it's not even worth the argument.
Yeah. Like it's whatever you need. It's fine because they're here all day. And so it's a lot of food and it's a lot of entertaining and it's a lot of screens and it's a lot of friends.
That's what kills me is the food situation and the amount of snacks that we're going through. It's almost like too when you take your kids to Disney and they're hungry like all the time, even though you just ate a full breakfast, whatever. You get in the park, it's like the minute you step into the park, they're hungry. It's like the minute they wake up It's like I need snacks, and we're not eating meals. We're just eating snacks all day.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about us, right? You're not talking about the kids on that part though, right? That's what I deal with.
Yeah.
Eating a lot of snacks over there, Stacy.
Only at Disney World. I'm only a snacker
Oh
at
yeah.
Disney.
Oh, I thought you meant Carla at home snacking from sun up to sundown in the summer. So today we're going to talk on our episode about leveling up your Disney vacation and the different things you can do to make it just a notch above what it would have been otherwise. And some of these things I think a lot of listeners may know about, and some of them I think they won't. Before we dive into them, I'm a little curious because I think we have a really wide scale we're going to talk about today. Where do you fall in that scale? Are you max my trip out every time, or like give me one touch of leveled up experience?
I got champagne taste on a beer budget, baby. Really, when we were compiling this list, it was, it's kind of like a high-low list, right? You have some like really amazing magical experiences that are going to have a little bit more of a hefty price tag. And then you have, some of the simpler ones, which are the ones which I probably go for the most. I'm going to dabble in these magical experiences a little bit. How about you guys?
I think because of the stage of life where I am, well, and I'm a little bit redneck and I'm a little bit cheapskate. So my taste is I don't like beer, so I can't go with your same analogy, but I definitely do not have a real experience in my lifetime of a lot of fancy things. But the part I was saying about it being a change in lifestyle now, usually I'm taking 5 kids to Disney World, and here I am coming up on this empty nest life. And so my husband and I are just going, and I'm like, this is costing so much less than when we bring all the other kids. So we should totally do this extra thing. For example, when we were newlyweds and anytime we would go somewhere and not get a speeding ticket, we're like, oh, that's an extra $100 we didn't have to spend. So, this is Walker logic. We can,
Girl math.
before girl math. Right. So in that respect, I'm starting to have a little bit of a fancier palette. I really would like to do a little bit nicer things whenever it's just the two of us. And that's so much fun. And I feel like it's a stage of life that we have worked our way towards, because we have definitely stayed in the Roach motels and shared as many people eating off of one plate as we could. And we've done all the cheapskate things for sure. So I'm on the range of getting there. I'm getting there towards a little more fancier things.
I love that. Yeah, the money saving hacks we've talked about at length, I feel like, here on the show. And so today I'm excited to sprinkle in something a little different. So we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to talk about 10 ways you can increase the magic on your Disney vacation.
Hi, Smarties. Carla here from the podcast. You hear us talking about the right way to do Disney, but let's be honest, taking notes isn't exactly easy while you're busy momming and on the go. There's an easy way to get all of those tips organized to simplify your vacation. Check out our 4-part guide bundle available now in our Patreon shop. Also, if getting guides is something you like to help with your planning, joining our Patreon as a Diamond Mine subscriber gives you a new Disney guide every month. Either way, we have got your back on knowing how to plan your park days so you feel like the expert before you walk in the gates.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I was thinking a little bit about what Stacey said, and it has me actually so excited. Like, I love every stage of my kids growing up, but when I look at this list that we're going to talk about, 10 ways to make your Disney vacation more magical, I really do see it like, oh, okay, when my kids reach this age, this is going to be something great we can do. Or when it's just my wife and I, this is something we'll definitely do. This is not like a list that you're probably going to do all of the things on a vacation, but it's some great ideas to integrate into different vacations. And some of these I have already done, and some I have in my head for sure. This is the milestone that we're going to add this to our vacation. I hope that listeners understand at the end of this episode, these are things you can actually do. They're attainable, they're fun, and it will make your experience all the more magical. Have you guys have done a lot of these things on this list? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So the very first one we're going to start with is firework and dessert parties. I think this one is It might be a little bit of a hidden gem, but I think they're getting more well known. I'm finding more families that I'm working with that have heard of these before and they're wanting to do these. We talk all the time about how important the fireworks shows are at Disney World. A dessert party, such a great way to have treats, alcohol, and then a reserved seating for the shows that are so amazing. You get rid of that one element of the show, which is like the claustrophobia, all those people at the end of the day, and you get a spread out space to really enjoy the show, coupled with that the treats and things. And you can do them at Magic Kingdom. You can do them. Well, where else? Where else have you guys seen the fireworks from a special place that you thought was great?
Oh, the most cool one that many people don't know about is the firework cruises, where you can get on a little pontoon boat out in the water, truly away from the crowds. And it's really not that expensive. And you can, because it'll seat 10 people on the boat. So if you want to share with another family or you've got a group of friends that want to get together and go, that is such a fun way. And it can be inexpensive if you're splitting the cost, but it includes your captain and they've got snacks and soft drinks on the boat. And actually, when I was doing a little bit of research on this last night to see if there was anything I was missing, they include banners and balloons. I did not know that part. You have to request them, but for any kind of special occasion, you can put that on the pontoon boat with you. But that is such a neat thing. The music being piped in, the site is really gorgeous. I love just like how it sparkles and reflects on the water. And you can see either Happily Ever After or you can see Luminous, our favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that that is definitely the experience that is, I mean, for the price point, it's starting at like 450, and that's for the group of 10. So obviously, the more social and the more friends you have, you're going to benefit more. You know, if it's two of you, then it's still probably a really good deal in the grand scheme of things. But if you have a big group and you go on this, it's definitely worth it price wise. There's a reason I wasn't on the fireworks show. I do not feel the love for fireworks as my fellow co-hosts do. And that's totally fine. It's because I am such a freak with large groups of people. One time, Katie and I went with our kids and we basically had this fantastic day. And, Katie's still semi new to the whole Disney, the awe of Disney, right? And she will stay for fireworks probably every time that she can. So we got deep into the hub area, deep into it. And then the people started crowding around, and I was like, okay, Katie, I'm out. You guys have fun. And I had full intention of staying. And then I just got like overwhelmed with all the people, and I was out. So, anyways, that to be said, if you're anything like me and you just you want to watch a show, but you need your own space to do so, these parties at Magic Kingdom, they're at Epcot. You can actually have a dining package where you're sitting outside, like on a terrace at Rose and Crown at Epcot or at Spice Table Road. There's places where you can just rope it into your dining reservation and you're actually dining during the fireworks, which to me, that's where I'm going to be at.
Yeah, I think leveling up your fireworks experience, given how much we love, okay, I'm sorry, I love firework experiences are so great. The boats, I like the post party for Magic Kingdom because you eat dessert and have the crowds I don't like are when everybody's leaving after the show. I don't mind being crammed in for the show because you're kind of stationary, but afterward, when you're trying to get out, it can be very overwhelming. So getting to kind of veer and head over to the Tomorrowland Terrace and enjoy champagne and chocolate and cheese while everybody else is cramming out of the park is my favorite way to do it. And then you get to see the fireworks in the hub grass, which is roped off for the fireworks show itself. So you're actually not elbow to elbow with people. So yeah, firework, Magic Kingdom dessert parties, firework cruises, or dining packages. And one you didn't mention would be Fantasmic packages at Hollywood Studios. That's such a great way to use your dining credits as well if you're using the dining plan, because the Fantasmic dining package in general can be kind of expensive, but you're still in most restaurant cases only using one credit. And then you get like a special certificate ticket that gets you to the front access point of Fantasmic to have that central view. So you had a good meal, You probably save money with the dining plan if you're using it, and then you have that great view. So that's more of a hack than a level up, but it's kind of coupled with a level up. So,
well, and it does give you that VIP feeling. I mean, it's really always nice to get a little special entrance or get a little special seating, and it's not a super expensive way to experience that. So we all want to have the nicer experiences, and sometimes our budget, we just need to be spending a little bit less, and this is one of the lesser expensive ways where you can give yourself and your family a special feeling of walking in a special entrance, have a special seating without it being quite as expensive as some of these other options. That Phantasmic dining package is really, it's one of my favorites. And I will do that one pretty regularly.
we're going to go on number 2 here on our list. Another way to level up your vacation is going to be the different types of tours. When people hear VIP tour at Disney, what's the first thing you think?
Plaid vest.
Yeah, and Stacy's referring to the guides that host the VIP tours. You've probably seen them if you've been to Disney World walking around in that very iconic plaid. To me, I think, and I think a lot of listeners probably do as well, I think expensive, right? Like you think, oh, VIP tour, that's
Dollar signs.
yeah, VIP tour, that's expensive. And it's true, it really is. And if it's within your budget, it's such a great option. You get a minimum of 7 hours, up to 10 guests, and the hourly rate really fluctuates based on the time of year you are at Disney World. But you basically get complete control of that VIP tour. You get to decide which attractions you want to ride. You get to go to the front of the line for those, which parks you want to go to. You get VIP entry and transportation to the parks with your VIP plaid vest guide. So they are amazing and they're so worth it. But the other thing that I think is important to know is that the classic VIP tour is not the only tour experience you can have at Disney World. And they're not all as expensive as that VIP tour.
Yeah, you're right. There's also at Magic Kingdom Keys to the Kingdom. Have you done that, Allie?
My favorite. So I did Keys to the Kingdom. First of all, I'm like a Disney history. I can't get enough of it. I used to make my dad tell me the story all the time about how Walt secretly was buying all the land in Florida under different aliases, about how they bought the land for Disney World. So I've like been obsessed with that sort of thing my whole life. And Keys to the Kingdom is that backstage history of Disney tour, while also like you get to walk the park, you get to walk the utilidors. It's really amazing. And it included lunch at Pecos Bill. You do get some access, but I don't want to say to what, because I think that's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but it's not that expensive. I mean, I think I spent less than $100 for myself.
And I experienced a similar type of tour in Disneyland. Thank you to my co-host who helped me celebrate my 50th birthday out at Disneyland. And it was so great too. It was a small walking tour, and it was, let's see, it was called Walt's Main Street Story. And it was a lot of that information too. Really historical with how Walt had just started there. And we even ended at Walt's apartment on Disneyland's Main Street. It was so incredible. It was very great. I still thank you very much for that. Even though I almost missed it. Yeah, I almost missed it with, I've told this story before to you guys. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast, but we set our alarm on our phone the day before. It's like, don't forget this. Don't forget this. And we were riding Small World and the alarm went off and I was like, I don't know what this alarm is for. Do you remember what this alarm is for? And we just turned it off and we started getting ready to go eat lunch. And then Allie called like, hey, are you going to show up for the tour? And I was like, oh no. And so we ran as fast as we could from Small World to the front of the park and we made it, but man, that was embarrassing. But it was such a great tour. So thank you again, ladies. That was really nice. Can we go back to talk about the plaid vest for a second? Because I need to know, when you see somebody in the plaid vest and they're leading a little group, do you look to see if they're celebrities?
Oh, I'm peeping. For sure. I'm like, who is that?
Yes. So have you ever seen one? Because I've seen one.
No, I haven't.
I don't think I have.
Okay. So
I've seen celebrities in the park, but not behind a plaid vest.
Well, the plaid vest is what tipped us off. And no offense to this actor, he's not a super big actor, so there wasn't like a big it wasn't a big flurry around him or anything. But we were actually getting on to Everest, the Everest roller coaster. We were on it, and we noticed it, and my kids noticed that there was this plaid vest, and they recognized that it was Bob Duncan from Good Luck Charlie, who is the actor's name is Eric Allen Kramer. Shout out Eric Allen Kramer, because we have since been in touch with him a couple of times. We tweeted about this incident, and he responded, and we laughed back and forth, and we're in a little Twitter conversation with him. And then for Christmas this year, my kids got us a cameo from him, and he talked about it on our cameo.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It is so funny.
It's amazing. Do you know how the Google searches for both of those people just are going to skyrocket after hearing this episode? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, because Good Luck Charlie is not a recent Disney show, but it is a Disney show. When we were pulling off on our car from the to ride the roller coaster, my husband yelled back, "We love Good Luck Charlie!" And
Aww.
so, hey, Bob, if you hear us, and our kids have done they did a volleyball team where they were the Bob Duncan experience, and they had Bob Duncan things all over their uniform. And yeah, that one moment became a huge thing in our family.
That's really funny. Yeah, there's all kinds of experiences like that. There are a few I have not done that I'm dying to do. My kids just need to get a little older, or we need to do it on an adult trip. But the one I'm like really, really wanting to do, or the two that I'm wanting to do, are actually at Animal Kingdom, the Savor the Savannah.
I thought you were going to say Behind the Seats.
No, that one is the one I'm going to have to take my wife to. That's at Epcot. Behind the Seeds is like the garden, living with the land. You get to see how they grow everything. And that's just not really for me. I'm not really the green thumb in our house. But yes, they do have that if you are. But at Animal Kingdom, they have the Savor the Savannah private lunch and safari. And you get to go out to like a safari hut on the savannah. And there's wine and cheese, and you get to eat basically with giraffes. And I'm dying to do that, but also the Wild Africa Trek, another tour type thing with lunch at Animal Kingdom. And you get to wear those vests, and I think they have walkie-talkies, and they walk on those ropes courses. I mean, you can probably see them. Like if you've ridden the safari at Animal Kingdom, you've probably seen the African Trek path. The only one I've done of these so far with my family is the Keys to the Kingdom. A lot of them have age limits. I did that actually with just adults. A lot of them have age limits for kids.
Did you know you could swim with dolphins?
Yeah, it's hard to get a reservation for. So if it's something you think you want to do, you have to really be on it, because they only do it select days and at select times. But yes, at Disney World, you can swim with dolphins. I think that's a really lesser known fact. It's at Epcot. All of these are just, if your kids are of age, pick the thing that you're really into or that's going to make your life a little easier, and go for it, because these are awesome and they're all reasonably priced, in my opinion. Even the VIP tour, if it's within budget, is really a great way to just add some adventure to your vacation. Wild African Trek, totally adding adventure to this magical trip. And for any Smart Moms travel agents listening today, the Hidden Mickey will be adventure.
I bet there are some people who didn't even know there were dolphins at Epcot, period, much less swim with them.
Yeah, tell everybody where they are.
So the Seas Pavilion at Epcot, where you can ride the Finding Nemo ride, and has the Coral Reef restaurant in it. There is a huge aquarium in there, and it's really cool. You should definitely go check that out.
So number 3, this one is going to be one that I think most listeners can add to their trip pretty easily, but it's a great way to level up what you're going to be doing within the parks. And that's looking at the Enchanting Extras series that Disney has to offer. And the most popular ones being ones that we've probably all done: Bibbidi Boppidi Boutique, Savi's Lightsaber Workshop, the Droid Depot, and maybe a first, or even if it's not first, but a haircut at the Harmony Barbershop. How many of these have you done?
Even with 2 girls, I have not ever done Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but we have done the first haircut. And that is the sweetest experience. Oh my goodness. The most precious cast members in there, taking time with our little baby. It was little baby Jack. And we have really an old tech video of it where she just was so sweet with him and so good with him, because, kids can be difficult to get their first haircut, period. But it was such a breeze. And then Big Brother also had his haircut there as well. And they put, I don't know what you'd call this little blue gel stuff that they put like a hidden Mickey on the back of his hair that was really cute. Aww. So it was really fun experience. I think that was one that very few people know about. And it was really a special special moment for us.
Well, we've done, if you've seen the pictures of my kids when they were younger, they went through this huge Star Wars phase, and we've definitely had a lot of fun building droids with them. And honestly, for the price point, for like when you go to the parks, you're always going to want to get a souvenir for your kids. And I feel like if they're Star Wars fans, then these are the best of the best souvenirs. And for what I think is a really reasonable price, the droids, they get to build them, they get to design and build them. And then from there, you get to play with them. Like there's this little playground area and they interact with each other. And I don't know, it was hard for my kids to want to walk away after playing with them because it's just so cool. And then you have the stormtroopers walking around and Chewbacca, and it's just this fully immersive little experience. And it's for kids and adults. Same with Savvy's workshop where you can build a lightsaber. I haven't done it personally, but that's the ultimate thing to do for a Star Wars fan is build your own lightsaber.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I'm dying to build like a Rey model lightsaber. I haven't done it yet, but I really want to. And I love what you said, the best souvenir, because I think one of the reasons these are such great leveled up experiences is because every single one of them that we're talking about right now come with a souvenir, right? So at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, the kids get a bag. My girls both got like a cinch sack with the makeup that they used and like a wand and some hair clips and just some pixie dust glitter that they kept with them for the day. And then obviously at Savvy's and the Droid Depot, you're getting the thing you made. And at Harmony Barbershop, get the little Mickey ears. And if it is a first haircut, it'll be embroidered first haircut. And so I do love any experience that's not only going to cost me extra, but also is going to leave me with something tangible on the other side of it for my kids. And it just makes the entire experience that much better. And I think Bibbidi Bobbidi is like the penultimate, like that is like the one that everybody wants, right? Like everybody wants to take their kids. You can take your little girls for a makeover. Your little boys can also get a makeover. And I just think for any Disney trip, especially a first trip and especially a trip with little ones, that is like the level it up experience you need. Okay. Number 4 here on our list. We talk about this a lot. This one is very, very attainable. And I think people don't put enough stock in the idea of upgrading your resort or your room type.
Simple concept. You have standard rooms, you have premium rooms, you have rooms with views, and just even taking that step from a standard room and paying, I don't know, $20 more a night to be closer to the pools, to be closer to the amenities, the food courts, the transportation, such an easy way to step up your experience.
I totally respect when people say, no, we're park warriors, we're open to close, and my resort is a place to lay your head. Let the resort in some way be a better part of your vacation. You don't want the resort to be just, you know what I mean? Just a place for my head or just a place to return to. Let it be something that enhances your trip. I was helping someone book their trip. They're staying at Pop Century later on this year. And they were like, oh, we'll just do a standard room. And I said, hey, just so you know, a preferred room for like a better location is $30 more for your entire trip. Like $30.
Exactly.
And you can go preferred. So this isn't even just a deluxe thing. This is a no matter where you're staying on Disney property thing. Of course, when you're staying deluxe, I was also looking at the boardwalk yesterday, and the difference between the pool view and the standard view for like an 8-day trip was, I think, $45. It was like, you have to do that so you're not looking at a parking lot, right?
Right. I liked how you said this was very attainable, especially the preferred room. I am encouraging clients to do that every single time I'm talking to someone, because you just don't know how tired your feet are until you've been a day at Disney. The being able to have a few less steps back to your room is just huge. And it does make you feel special to have, oh, I'm going to a room right here. Like my room is already right here. And you see everybody else is just still marching on to the next block of their rooms. And it is very attainable. Always look into that. I think the preferred room is probably the simplest way you can upgrade your vacation.
Yeah, definitely.
Another thing to consider is there are a few resorts that you may not be aware of that are considered moderate. There's one in particular that is considered a moderate resort that has a very deluxe feel to it. And I don't know if we're ready to segue to even our number 5 on the list, but there is a way to go to the Coronado, which is Coronado resorts are considered a moderate resort, but in their tower rooms, Those are some deluxe plush, really nice amenity rooms, and they're still at a moderate price. And this is the part where I was going to segue. Sorry, Allie, if this is stealing your thunder a little bit, but was the number 5 on our list was to consider club level at a resort. And that is where you have a concierge service and a club level lounge. And that is only available in deluxe resorts unless you're at the Coronado. It has it available at this moderate resort. And because it's at a moderate resort, it costs a little bit less to do this upgrade than it does if you're doing it at a deluxe resort.
Yeah, number 5 on our list being upgrade to club level. That's such another good hack, Stacy, that comes along with this leveled up list. But club level is included at not all deluxe resorts, but at several of them. And I like to look at it as a good way to, yes, you're getting like a better experience overall, but you're also in a way probably going to end up coming out a little bit ahead with the food and money and things that you're going to save. Do you agree?
Well, yeah, I think so. And I think some people really do know how to hack that a little bit better than others. I had a client who just got back last night from one of her trips where she, and we can throw in this as a hack / upgrade. They did a split stay where they were at All Star for the beginning of their trip and ended up at a club level at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And she was just going on and on about how great the lounge was and all the food and just the experiences they had there. And even as they were leaving, they had checked out, but it was not time to leave yet. And so they were able to stay in that lounge area and even got some sodas and stuff for the road. So she was just really excited about it and loved that experience. And she said you could not get away from somebody wanting to make your trip more magical the whole trip. She said the whole time they were in this area, that there was just somebody there ready to make it more special every time she turned around.
Love that.
Yeah, definitely. Kids love grab and go. There's not many grab and go options that they wouldn't love. And then I love to have the drinks when I get back to the resort at night. So for me, it's a big win all around because it really serves a purpose for my whole family. But yeah, I think it's kind of, for a lot of people when they're looking at adding club level, it could be a little bit of a sticker shock. But when you really think about it and think about the money you could end up coming ahead in the end. Okay, that is halfway through our list. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to finish out the top 10 ways to level up your vacation. If you are learning a lot and you're thinking, oh, I didn't know about that tour, or I didn't know about that way to see the fireworks a little bit better, remember that you can join our Patreon community at any time. As a Diamond Mine subscriber, you can get access to an included monthly guide where we will give you tons of tips, tricks, and hacks to make the Disney vacation that you are planning even more magical.
Hey there, friends. I'm Katie Boone, one of your podcast co-hosts. I'd love to invite you to join my Facebook Disney planning community called Planning Disney with Babies, Toddlers, and Preschoolers. In my group, I love discussing all the aspects of planning your magical vacation with little ones. Find my community at facebook.com/groups/Plan Disney with Little Ones. Again, that's facebook.com/groups/Plan Disney with Little Ones. When you join, don't forget to tell me you heard about my group on the podcast. See you there.
Hey, wait. I know you're ready to get back to the podcast, but I've got something very simple for you to do. Join my Facebook group, Disney Planning Made Simple. I'm Stacy, one of your podcast hosts, and I have a sweet, friendly Facebook group made for those of us who thrive in the simple pleasures of life, things like family, food, and Disney. Join at facebook.com/groups/Disney Made Simple or follow with the link in the show notes. We'll be so happy to see you there.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are talking today about leveling up your Disney vacation. We've talked about the first 5 ways, being adding fireworks and dessert parties, adding different VIP tours or specialty tours within the theme parks, adding on enchanting extras like Bibbidi Boppidi Boutique, upgrading your resort or room type, or considering staying club level. Hey, if you're listening today because this episode dropped right wherever you listen, that means you're a subscriber. And we want to thank you so much for subscribing to this show. And if you don't already, please do so. Make sure that you are getting our episodes dropped into your feed every single Tuesday morning. Turn on your automatic downloads. It helps us so much that we can continue helping you. Recently, we had a listener let us know, Lisa from Instagram, She said, "Thank you, ladies, for all your hard work. I love my Tuesday mornings when I get to spend my time dreaming of my next trip with you." That was nice of her to say, and it lets me know that she probably has her automatic downloads on every Tuesday because she looks forward to it on Tuesday. So thank you, Lisa, and to everybody that is a loyal listener and doing that already. We are moving on here to number 6, another really attainable one, but definitely a luxury. Carla, introduce this one to our listeners.
Is the minivan, which is not your mama's minivan. This is the polka dotted, what are they, Suburbans?
Couple of options. I think there's a Suburban. Yep.
Yeah, big luxurious SUVs, rocking the dots. If I was a little girl and I was at Disney and we were going to a dining reservation at one of the resorts, and my parents ordered this mini van that pulled up to the resort, I would feel like the biggest princess in all the land.
Yeah, definitely. It's for listeners that don't know, it is a service that Disney offers straight through the Lyft app. And when we say mini, it is MINNIE, like Minnie Mouse minivan. And they are probably double the price of a normal Lyft or Uber that you could take. But it is, like Carla said, like, can you imagine when that Minnie Mouse van pulls up to, or SUV pulls up to pick you up? It is a way to really throw you into that Disney immersion. And it's a quicker way to get from point A to point B for sure. And another pro tip is that they include car seats. You can get up to 2 car seats, which is really nice because with Uber and Lyft, you're not always guaranteed to have those car seats. And with minivan, you really are.
My job before I became a Smart Moms travel agent, I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car and would drive customers all the time. And when this minivan thing came out, I was like, this is it. This is my dream job. This is the perfect crossover for me when in my retired days, when I retired, moved down to Disney and work for Disney, I'm going to drive these minivans.
Yeah, that would be that actually would be so perfect for you. We talk all the time about like, what would your Disney dream job be like in retirement? And this would be perfect for you.
Yep.
Stacy's driving the minivans.
Yeah. That's a great gig in Florida because they're air conditioned. And you
yeah. Exactly. And you get to meet all the fun people. I just think that would be super fun. Did y'all ever watch the show Cash Cab? Did y'all ever run across that?
Oh, yes, of course.
Wouldn't it be fun to do like a minivan Cash Cab, like call it Mini Moolah or something? And you're doing like Disney trivia along the way, and you get to give them Disney gift cards if they answer all the questions. And
that is like the best idea.
That would be so fun. That's a great idea of Disney if you're listening.
I love that idea. I would be so excited.
I know. That would be just, talk about adding magic to your trip. That would be incredible.
Yeah. Number 7, I have actually admittedly never done this yet because I'm just in that phase of life where my kids are little. And when my wife and I get away for our adult trips, we haven't done this yet. Stacey, you talk us into this one, number 7.
And I'll admit that I have also not had any of these. And these are very specialty dining experiences, which until I had a client just this past week come back and telling me about this experience, I have had zero interest. If I'm just being completely honest, that redneck in me, I'm like, nope, that's too fancy. I don't need none of that. But when I heard her talking about this, I was like, oh, wow, that is really an experience to behold. She had dinner at the Victorian Alberts, which is the Grand Floridian. She kept using the word artistic. And she just said it was unbelievably artistic. It's a curated meal. It is a very expensive curated meal, but it is several hours of dining, several courses. She just could not stop talking about it, how very one-on-one it was. She says it felt like we were the only people in the dining room, and that it was a very small group of people in there anyway. But even with the others who were in there, she didn't even notice them. They were a distance away, and she said they called them by name as they walked in the dining area and were constantly checking on them. And I told her I was doing this today and that I would be talking about it. And I said, is there anything you want our listeners to know? And she said, the one thing I really want to tell people is that you should take advantage of the non-alcoholic drink pairing, the non-alcoholic drink pairing. She says the other is a wine pairing and that it was really nice. but that was so much more creative. And she said the artistry really came out in their non-alcoholic drinks and how amazing they were and so creative and so beautiful. So I'm just passing that along as well, if anyone's wanting to do this. But I, as a redneck, am actually now interested in this as an option, something I should consider for the future. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, when we were talking about building this list, we were kind of like, which of these leveled up experiences are worth it and which aren't, right? And we have such a wide range on this list, like from Bibbidi Boppity Boutique to Victoria and Albert's. I would not say that Victoria and Albert's is not worth it. I think it is worth it. But I think it's one of those things that it's like everybody should experience it once, right? Like this is not something.
Michelin star.
Yeah, that's where I was going. You go with that.
No, I mean, if you know anything, like if you know food at all, and Stacy was saying the artistry of food, you get chefs work their whole lives to get Michelin stars. And this restaurant has been granted a Michelin star, which says a lot. And there are, redneck Stacy. And by the way, if anybody's listening to today's episode, for every time you hear Stacy or the word redneck, take a drink of your either alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage. But, it is such a privilege as a chef to have a restaurant and to earn this. And for this to be at essentially it's not necessarily at a theme park, but in the world of Disney is pretty extraordinary. If you do have that interest, then this is the place for you. Other than that, though, there are other experiences in theme parks that are almost equally as elaborate and extravagant, and they're at Epcot. Monsieur Paul's in the France Pavilion. I don't know about you guys, but I've been to Paris, and when I walk past this restaurant at Epcot, you kind of like are looking like this glass building, and you're looking down at them because it's kind of like a level that's beneath where you're at, but you're looking in on them and you're just in awe at this experience that they're having. And I don't know, it just looks extremely luxe in there. And then there's Takumi Thai, and that's in the Japan Pavilion, equally as luxe, right?
Yeah, definitely. I love that you're saying luxe experiences, because people have this vision of what Disney World is, and they don't have a vision of what Disney World can be. And the fact that these restaurants and these experiences are there for the foodies or for people that are looking to escape theme park life and theme park food, these are not typical restaurants. These are better than most. And dining experiences overall, I think restaurant really undercuts what they're doing.
Like I said at the top of the episode, there's highs and lows of all these categories, right? Maybe you're used to quick service dining, but you're splurge and you're leveling up on this trip as a table service, right? So, I mean, you can find kind of that upgrade that works in your budget. I haven't experienced the three that we've talked about. I've been to California Grill. I've been to Ohana during the fireworks, and they actually pipe in the music. They turn the lights down. California Grill is at the top of the Contemporary. You can actually walk out to an observation deck and watch the show, which is really cool. So there's all different levels of how you can upgrade your dining to basically enhance your trip.
Yep, absolutely. And you should, because anything that's going to thread the immersion and remind you like you're somewhere special on this vacation. All right, number 8, I'm super excited about the spas at Walt Disney World. I just did my first spa experience. My wife and I do the Senses spa on the Disney cruise ship every time we go. We get a massage, because that's like my favorite thing to do in life. All I ever want are massages. And I don't get them very often, but we do get them on Disney cruises. I had never done them at Disney World. And when we were on a trip with some adults earlier in May, I went to the spa at the Grand Floridian and I got a massage. And oh my goodness, the experience was, I can't believe it took me so long to do it, being how much I love massages. You walked in, it was so beautiful and serene. It's its own building just off the lobby of the Grand Floridian itself. You got to pick a stone, like a Senses stone. They were really beautiful, and add it to the rock garden. And then based on the stone that you picked, they dimmed the lights in your therapy room that color and sort of just told you what scents you were taking in that day and how it was going to make your day better. And before and after your massage, you have access to the lounge area where there's these really comfortable seating and there's tea and snacks. There are showers and lockers, and the whole experience was just not the stereotypical Disney World experience you would think. This was a nice spa where if you have somebody in your group that you want to pamper or celebrate in some way, maybe mom put all the energy of planning the trip in and you want to reward her for that. This spa is such a great thing.
How long did that experience take for you?
That's a good question. My massage was, I think, 50 minutes, maybe 70. And I arrived probably 90 minutes. I bet I was there for 2 hours, two and a half hours. I was there for a little while, but I enjoyed the room and then the massage itself and things like that.
You might as well pick up your glass because I'm gonna tell you that this redneck loves some massaging. I do want to do this.
So yeah, the massage at Senses Spa is really great. And again, that's not something you're probably going to experience with your whole family. It's not like, oh, it's family spa day, but pampering somebody in your family, that means a lot. Or maybe you're on an adult trip with just your spouse or significant other. Absolutely look into hitting the spa and there's also a spa over at the Dolphin in the boardwalk area, the Mandara Spa. I've not been to that one, but I'm sure it's just so great, like the Senses Spa. Number 9, we have a whole episode about this. Upgrading your tickets to Park Hopper or Water Park. We did a whole episode here, if you haven't listened to it yet, about the power of the Park Hopper and why it's special. This is a little bit more pricey than like upgrading your room to preferred, like we talked about, but I just think there's so much value here. This is something you should absolutely consider leveling up.
This is just going to make the most out of your Disney trip. This is kind of like a no-brainer. It is a little pricier, but this is the biggest probably and best way that you can level up your Disney trip.
Well, this is so interesting too, because I'm working with a family right now who is dying to do the dolphin swim that we talked about, the different things you can do at the parks. And she really wants to do it. And the day she has planned to go to Epcot, they don't do dolphin swims that day. And she doesn't have a park hopper ticket. And so I was like, well, we could switch your park days around. Or we can think about adding the park hopper ticket. And then that way, whatever day we get the dolphin swim, you can just hop into Epcot to do it because it means so much. So things like that, the flexibility it's going to include to maybe allow you to do one of the other things we've talked about on today's episode. And really just in general, enjoy the parks at a pace that can change. Maybe you didn't think you would love Animal Kingdom and you did, and you have the freedom to go back and things like that. A pace that can change and a pace that can follow the trip that you're actually physically on. The park hopper is how you're going to be able to do that.
And honestly, is there anything more luxurious than the freedom to do what you want on your vacation? I mean, I think we should even add into this extending your stay as part of this luxury upgrade to your vacation. If you add this park hopper, you can extend your stay, sleep in, and know you're not going to miss anything because you have plenty of days in your vacation to catch up on everything. You have the freedom to park hop and go from one place to the other, the freedom to have rest days and even multiple rest days in your vacation. This may be a simple way and a very attainable way for many people. But if you're really wanting to bump things up and make your vacation very nice, this is you have to consider this.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what brings us to number 10, our very last way to level up and upgrade your Disney World vacation. I know all of us do this almost every chance we can, and that is attend an after-hours event or a special ticketed event. Obviously, if you are staying at a deluxe resort, you get extended evening hours, 2 hours late in at least usually Epcot Magic Weekly, but we've talked before about how sometimes you can find other parks like Hollywood Studios included in that rotation. What we're talking about here is not that. Although upgrade to that deluxe resort and get those included extra hours because it's amazing. But the ticketed events are different than that. So you have after hours events that are not themed where you can just get extra park time, specialty snacks and different things that are being included in that time. Or you have special themed parties, and all of them worth it, in my opinion.
Totally agree with you. What I like about it is it does offer some creativity that you can add to your itinerary. You can start looking at ways to sleep in. That's twice in a row of mentioning sleeping in. Do you think I like sleeping in? You can really switch up your itinerary. Even, if you're trying to be budget conscious, you actually could maybe drop a park day when you're with your regular set of tickets and use this in place of, and use that day as your rest day, sleeping in day, and then go into the parks for an evening experience. That's a great way to do it. Or you can have that park hopper feeling where you spend your first part of your day at one park and you have a party at the second half. But ultimately, they're just special. These parties are just really special, especially when you're talking your holiday parties, your Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. You've got your Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party. Now you've got Jollywood Nights.
They just announced Jollywood's coming back. So that was a hit last year.
I was so worried. And Carly, you went to Jollywood, didn't you?
Yeah, I think Stacy and I both did, right?
I did.
Oh yeah, Stacy, you were at opening night.
No, not opening night, second night. I was second night.
Oh, second night.
Yeah.
Second night. Yeah, I was worried that they weren't going to bring Jollywood back. I'm so glad that they are. These after hours parties, yeah, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party. You're getting specialty holiday characters and treats, specialty fireworks shows that are just for that party, parades, interactions, and dance parties that you wouldn't otherwise have. So the holiday parties are by far and beyond worth it. But a little hidden gem of an after hours party is the H2O Glow Nights at Typhoon Lagoon. You can get into the theme park by 6, but the party doesn't start till 8. So you get like 2 hours of free water park time where you can just have the park as normal, and then a glow party. Are you kidding me? I feel like that's like Disney kid fantasy on steroids.
Yeah, you know what I like about the after hours events? Like right now, we have it at Hollywood Studios in Epcot. I like it as kind of like your second day at that park. You experience the park for a full day or, however long you did it, but you still like wanted a little extra. And I really feel like I haven't been to one of these, but I would imagine it's like having the park to yourself. I think the after hours special, like special ticketed compared to like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, I think it's probably like a totally different experience where the holiday parties are going to be like you're there for the holidays, right? You're there for the parades and the shows, but I feel like these after hours, you are spamming the rides, right? Like you are just going from one ride to another. To me, if you are a thrill rider, like this is when you're living it up.
That's such a great way to say it, because a lot of people say, well, if I go to the holiday party, I can ride everything. But I really think the focus at the holiday parties is not the attractions. So I am glad that they have the after hours ticketed events, because you're exactly right. That's what you're doing. And I did one at Hollywood Studios last year. I did deluxe after hours there, and I also did a ticketed after hours party. And the after hours party was actually a party more so than the just deluxe after hours. There were like specialty snacks and different things like that. But we did get to ride things over and over and over, and it was really fun. I will say the food lines got a little long for my comfort. It was like I waited way too long for like a water, and so that was kind of obnoxious. But other than that, these parties are really great.
I don't believe that you waited really long for water.
I did. It was bottled water, and I did. I think I have a timestamp.
You drink water? I said, you drink water?
Oh. It was like water and something else. No, but you got to do these things. The thing I want people to listen to most today is I don't want anybody leaving thinking, oh, well, I can't afford any of that. It's just a good mix of attainable and goal setting things to do at Disney World, and really just opening the eyes of listeners and families traveling that there is more than just the normal things that you hear about. You know what I mean? There are like little hidden gems and experiences that, especially if you're not planning your first trip, or if you are planning your first and only, or the multi-generational trip that's going to include everybody, take a minute and think about, the 10 things we talked about today, and which of those might fit into your plans and just make it a little bit more special. Well, that is going to do it for us on today's episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. I hope that listeners will take a moment to level up their trip in some way, shape, or form. I am excited to continue to check things like this off of my list. I think I've done a good half of them, but I've got a lot of trips in my future to mark off more of them. So I'm excited for that. Probably going to take my wife on that Seeds tour. That's not high on my list, but I'll probably make it happen for her at some point.
I heard it's remarkable.
Yeah. The Seeds tour is probably remarkable. Becky's probably done it. And she probably cried the whole way through. That's going to do it for us. And until next time, we'll see you real soon.